little American football. Headline from Mike Silver in The Athletic. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni is a hothead and a lightning rod. Just don't call him a phony. Okay, I won't. Here's what Saquon Barkley said about his coach. He doesn't get enough credit at all. I don't get why he doesn't. What he's doing in real time, legendary. For being honest, no one talks about it enough. We talk about it plenty, for the record. We talk about me rushing for 2,000 yards, but Jalen Hurts, talk about the Eagles. But he's like the last one to get brought up. Doesn't really make any sense. So, Saquon really riding for his coach there. Nick, do you agree that Saquon's coach is legendary? Or at least his actions are legendary as coaching.
No, I don't think he's legendary. I do think his players clearly love him, and I think that matters a ton in coaching, and so I want to give him credit for that. I also, my pal Mike Silver wrote the article. Even if you can't read the whole article, try to find time to read the first 2 paragraphs, because the very beginning of the article explains how while at a charity event painting a school, he started yelling at a guy for wearing a Panthers sweatshirt in front of Mike Silver, and then called the guy a bozo, and then said to Mike Silver, yeah, that's the stuff I gotta stop doing. and so it is the push and the pull of, I don't think he's being fake. I do think he can have trouble regulating his emotions, and I think sometimes that works against him, but his players love him. And so that part, it can cancel itself out or work in his favor, fine. As far as when Saquon's like, everyone gets credit essentially but him.
Yeah.
I do think if you take if you get the 100 richest people in the world in a room together, someone there is the least wealthy of them all. Mm-hmm. If you take the 8 people most responsible for the success of a football team, owner, GM, head coach, quarterback, 4 best players, however you want to do it. Right. Someone in that room, even if they won 5 Super Bowls in a row, contributes the least to it. And I think that if I were power ranking people responsible for the Eagles' sustained excellence over the last 6 years, he would not be high on that list. And I know that the year right before he got there, they were bad. But 2 years before that, they won the Super Bowl with a different quarterback and a different coach and different everything. And so, I also think you, KW, have softened in your vehement support of him because it looked like you were going to have to. It was hard to be a Sirianni and a Jalen Hurts guy, and you pivoted more to Jalen Hurts. So I don't even know if you disagree with me as much as you once did.
Very interesting. First of all, to your 100 richest people thing, once you put it like that, yes, you're right. And I think that is a question that sometimes, Greg, it does seem like the Eagles' fortunes fall with who's the OC this year. And if the OC is excellent, then it looks like the team follows that path. Where Sirianni, who is an offensive coach, the team works independently of that. He's not able to just make the team excellent all the time like Sean McVay would, for example. That being said, if you looked at the Eagles organization as one unit, like the human body, and you're like, line up the 7 most important parts of the human body, the brain, the lungs, the hearts, one of them has to be the least important. Like, well, not necessarily. The thing doesn't work unless they're all functioning together.
Yeah, but if that analogy, what if you did?
I'm not putting in the toe.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
don't take shots at.
No, but it's like a kidney transplant. It's the most important. Like, well, we were great before, and then we switched you out, and we were great again. You need a head coach.
Fair. I don't know how you're supposed to judge the guy. Anecdotes. Haircuts, talking trash to fans, not great. I get. Winning games, making his players reach heights that they had never reached or even expected to reach, like Saquon and Jalen Hurts. I think that's a more fair way to judge him. Now, the winning percentage, Greg, when it goes Guy Chamberlain, John Madden, Lombardi, George Allen, Sirianni, Look, that is a little.
It's all time.
A little odd.
And the
Impressive.
Guy Chamberlain didn't coach enough. That's why he's not on the ground.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's those three guys are the most legendary coaches ever.
But it is what it is.
Here's the other thing, though. Sirianni is the only guy since 1978, the only coach since 1978 in the top 9. So, like, no one in modern football has done what Sirianni's done. I'm more with Wiles. I think the problem with Sirianni and why he doesn't get enough credit is because of his, just what you said in the beginning of that article, like being a loudmouth and his personality. People don't like it. It doesn't seem like he doesn't come off as a smart guy because of the things he does, even though he's obviously smart. You can't overlook 4 wins. I don't care that they won a Super Bowl a few years before. 4 wins the year before he got there. All right? Jalen Hurts was viewed as a backup who couldn't throw. And he's turned he's had to play a role in Jalen Hurts becoming a 3-time Pro Bowler, MVP candidate, and phenomenal 2-time Super Bowl, or in the Super Bowl twice and played tremendously. So I just have to give him, to me, it's about wins and losses and results. Like you said, the players like him, play hard for him. And so if he does that, I'm fine with him. I think Saquon's quote is perfect. He's not calling him a legend, but he's saying what he is doing so far is legendary.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I think he has a unique perspective because he was in the division, he was playing against him, and so there was a point in his career where he was looking at him kind of like we all do because we're outside of that building. We're not.
That's interesting, Greg.
Our proximity isn't right there. So you're looking like, man, is this guy, you said it, is this real or is this fake? So you're kind of asking, is he really like people ask me, how is Nick on the show? How is Wilds? How is Brew?
No one
Like,
asks
are
how's
there
Wilds.
personalities really like
I know nobody asks how's Wild,
I'm
but I appreciate
I'm a
being
team player, Wilds.
No
Come
one
on,
asks.
baby.
Everybody knows I'm great.
But the point that I'm making is once Saquon got in the building, it's like he identified. Now he is like this. He's a little different. He's an acquired taste, and once you understand that, you embrace that as the players. You talked about it. The players ended up doing. Then it's like you are able to see beyond that. There are some players that probably can't. A.J. Brown may have been one of those guys.
So quick question, Greg. He was 4th best, right?
Yeah,
He took
4th
out
on that, 5th all time. Yeah.
Is he, in your mind?
The top 10 coach in the league right now. That's
the
the thing is
question.
this, like we
You
can.
said, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
top 10.
top 10.
Like if
In the
like
league?
Greg,
By
you
results,
get
you
an
would say.
expansion team, okay? You get an
That's-
expansion NFL team. Like good news, every coach is available. Can you give me your list of top 10 coaches because we want to set your expansion NFL team up in a good spot?
He's not on
Give me your list of
He's
10.
not on
Yeah,
there.
I think he makes the 10.
Wow.
Okay.
I think he's closer to the bottom because he doesn't, to your points earlier, he doesn't carry the weight of the others. Like you hear Kyle Shanahan's name and you're like, well, he's a play caller as well.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him hoist a trophy.
Exactly. But you're going to have him up there probably in the top 5.
I
If
just
he
had
got
Vrabel 10
fired,
times.
which I guess could be on the table after this season, I think he'd get a job pretty quickly. Maybe
fired?
not the
You got-
next year.
Well, that's
No, I'm
what
saying
I was
if.
about to say. Like,
At 58, you're firing Sirianni?
No, I
You
wasn't.
said-
I'm saying if theoretically.
He's saying he would get hired
Yeah,
quick.
I think he'd get hired.
Baker Mayfield says there's been no progress on a new deal with the Bucs. I remember a few weeks ago he said they were, quote, not anywhere close on a new contract. That made our eyebrows rise. Like, interesting, Baker. Tampa Bay Times report says the team is worried about his durability now,
Baker got mad.
which Baker pushed back on succinctly. Okay, there we go.
So there's, I think, a little more to this as well because talking about them being far apart on the contract. What I had overlooked when that story first came out was so far apart that Baker's team said, we're not countering. Like, you guys, like, this, your initial offer, we're not considering an offer, so bring us a new initial offer.
I like that.
And, yeah, but very often the counterparty that's like, well, we're not negotiating against ourselves. Like, you've got to bring something to us, which means this, and then the Tampa Bay Times, like, whenever it is a beat reporter who covers one team saying the team has concerns about X, that means the team, like, that's the team publicly negotiating, and Baker was upset by that. everybody knows how much I like Baker and how, I think when he was kind of counted out by many, I still thought there was something there.
Sure.
With that said, playing every game doesn't mean you don't have durability concerns. I think these are fair concerns by Tampa. The worry is, yeah, man, don't have toughness concerns. We do have your ability to play the way you want to play without getting hurt. Now, you're so tough, you'll play through getting hurt. Right. But will you play as effectively?
That part right there.
Yeah, but all of this to me is walking down a road of a very prickly situation because you're publicly negotiating, you're angering the quarterback, and you're kind of, trying to hurt his value in the marketplace.
Yeah, and so for that, I believe it can be his last year. It very well could be. Here's the deal, because you kind of alluded to it. They praise you for, and this is the league at large, they praise you and appreciate you and kind of put you up on a pedestal and cheer you on for pushing through those injuries and playing. Baker's been tough for us. He's been amazing for us all year. We really appreciate him, what he's doing. And it's like it's a glowing gold star, if you will. But the moment we're sitting at a table and now I need you to show my appreciation, because the way you show players appreciation is you honor them with a contract. In this case, an extension. And now you're saying the very thing that you were rewarding me and glowingly speaking about, now it's a hindrance. Right. Albeit, I feel the same way with you. It is an issue, a true legitimate issue that they have in terms of him being an injury concern. And it is primarily because, yes, Baker is tough. Yes, Baker plays through injury. But when he decides to do that, his production drops. We've seen it now on two different occasions, in Cleveland, and then he was gone. And now again with the Bucs. And at the start of the season, he was awesome. Yep. And then he started having those nicks. And every single week, he was on the injury report for like 10 weeks last year. And every single week, it started getting worse and worse. And then you look at, we don't make the playoffs. We got the Panthers at home to get in.
At the end of the year.
And our quarterback, he's been playing through injury, he didn't look great. Yep. He didn't rise to the occasion, and so that all comes right back to the forefront when you're starting to negotiate long-term deals.
To your point about last year, how he played through the injury for the second half of the season, and then some actually. Remember, he started the first 5 games, he was in the MVP conversation early on. These are his numbers by the end of the season. So it shows you how bad things went over the last 10, 12 games, whatever.
Yep.
And so that's the season he's coming off. Here's the challenge for Baker. He is tough and does play through injury. You might say to him, okay, this is what the Bucs want to do. You saw what the Browns did to you. If you get injured this year or, banged up to the point where you could sit out legitimately, but you could play through it as well, you should just sit out. The problem is if he doesn't have a contract going into this season, he can't really do that.
Which is why he should sit out right now, because as much as we talk,
you're probably right. Yeah,
we don't.
He's not gonna have any other leverage.
But you don't really see. The only quarterback that we've really seen do that is Lamar, where he's like, I'm not coming. I'm not showing up. I'm not going to be there. Nobody loves it. But at the end of the day, they carry the most weight. If Baker Mayfield says, I'm not coming to training camp, I'm not going to be there, the Bucs are a contender.
Right.
Like, they can win that division. They can get into the postseason and anything can happen. They were riddled with injuries last year. It wasn't just Baker. Yep. So we look at those numbers and we say, well, Baker, he fell off. Well, they had a ton of injuries across the board, defensively and offensively. But if Baker says, you know what, I'm going to sit.
And right now he's saying just the opposite. To his credit as a gamer, but you're right. Contract-wise, that is the only leverage he's going to have.
And he also, while he hasn't said this, I am certain he is feeling like, man, the first year I played for you guys, I made $4 million. and I was an above-average starting quarterback.
He's outplayed that.
The second year I played for you guys,
Yeah.
I was making $33 million, and I was a clear that year top 10 quarterback.
Yes.
Last year, I again, for where those ranks, you know what they mirror about? Where he was in quarterback salaries last year. Like, it's considered a down
They
year,
do.
but I was the 19th highest paid quarterback, and statistically I was the 20th. So you have gotten such a deal on my 3 years of service. I deserve not back pay, but a contract commensurate with that. And the team, I understand Jason Light in the team's position of, man,
You get both sides.
yeah, I about the anxiety of it, but glass half full is chip on his shoulder, Baker. You sometimes see some of his best football, but the glass half empty is it never works to have a quarterback or a head coach on a lame duck or a prove it year. Lamar wasn't on one. You know what I mean? Lamar got it. He held out, but then got his deal.
But so do you think,
And when Lamar was on the lame duck, sorry to interrupt, remember he got dinged at the end of the year and was not available. I think in part because
I get both sides. I get why Baker has been underpaid these last few years, and is like, I'm not accepting anything below my market value, which $55 million per year or something like that. And I get them feeling like, number one, we do have injury concerns. Number two, you weren't very good last year.
Correct.
You can say it's injuries, whatever. And so wanting to see him prove it. If he has a chip on his shoulder next year, stays healthy, and plays great, I'm sure they'd be willing to pay him. Now, somebody else would be willing to pay him too, so he could leave. But I get where both sides are coming.
I think that if you're especially if you're a popular quarterback in the locker room, man, I think it has a bad knock-on effect of like, man, they're not taking care of him.
Correct.
Well, Mbappe has another one out of nowhere. 3-1. Some response from France.
Mbappe's second goal of the day. Now we're looking at Dallas. What will this man do? England, Croatia, Harry Kane today at 4 on Fox.
Major announcement.
Major announcement here.
Upset alert.
Croatia?
Ooh la la.
Is it because people say you look like Luka Modric? A lot of your takes are based on who you want to look like or people have told you look like.
I don't love you look like Luka Modric as much as I love is that Erling?
The Holland hair? Yeah.
No, it's me, Nick, right?
It's because one team plays its absolute best ball in this tournament, and the other team is England.
Okay.
I just don't know if
And
it
you
would be
want
considered an
Dax
upset.
to be wrong.
It's not an upset?
No,
It's
I don't
plus
know if it would be
425. It would be an upset.
But not in the same sense as like a Curacao.
Well, no, that's crazy. I take big swings.
No.
Who you got, Dak?
No, he's got England. He's got Harry Kane scoring a brace and doing all this stuff. I'm telling you, Croatia.
There's a little budding rivalry on that side.
Love
of the
it.
table. That's
All right. Yesterday, Holland, Mbappe, and Messi combined for 7 goals. All eyes on Ronaldo in Portugal this afternoon. Here's Stu Holden on Messi's historic performance and how it sets the table for Ronaldo. Take a listen.
Just imagine these stars, though, sitting at home watching each other, where first Mbappe goes, it's your turn, 2 goals. Then Haaland goes, 2 goals. Messi's like, hey, Brad, hold my beer. That's cute, guys. How about a hat trick tonight? So what is Ronaldo going to do tomorrow?
Ooh. Dax, do you think there's pressure on Ronaldo after Messi's hat trick?
Immense amount of pressure.
Immense
amount of pressure on Ronaldo. And look, his club career littered with trophies, goals, everything. When Ronaldo was at Manchester United, you would never find a bigger Ronaldo fan than me. Goes to Real Madrid, becomes more of a goal scorer. But with Portugal, it has been underwhelming. One big trophy with the Portuguese national team, and they have never had a better team. They have the best midfield in the tournament, plenty of service. Ronaldo is the finisher. And we showed a couple clips of him earlier in these build-up games, these warm-up games, and he was very inefficient with his finishing. Chances that were never an issue for him. In the back of the net 9 out of 10 times. He looks like a weirdly lack of confidence in and around the goal. And whereas Messi doesn't as much now rely on his physical capabilities because of the way that he plays, the way he thinks the game, the way that he can move in and around the game without having to rely so much on his physical tools. Ronaldo isn't the same type of player. He has always relied on his physical ability to be bigger, faster, stronger than everyone, and an absolute killer in and around the box. You would never see him missing chances like that a couple of years ago. So yeah, there's never been more pressure on Ronaldo right now. And if he doesn't deliver, whether he likes it or not, the blame will be his.
No, look, I think you hit it on the head with one aspect of the pressure is that the team actually around him now is really good, right?
Zero excuses.
Whereas before that wasn't the case. The other thing is that it shouldn't be a lot of pressure on him just because of his age. And I'm going to make another LeBron comparison. We always talk about now, LeBron, it's all gravy. If he doesn't win a championship or isn't all NBA, it's not we get it because of his age, and he's had such a great career. With Ronaldo, as you said, yeah, you would say that outside of the World Cup, but because he hasn't been played up to his standards in the World Cups.
Yep.
And he's got 8 goals in 5 World Cups.
Yeah.
4 of them came.
Yep.
I don't know if it was his first World Cup or his second.
He's never scored a goal in the knockout rounds.
No, he scored.
Yeah, so
Brew, 3 of the 5 came in the game against Spain where he had the hat trick in 2018. And we always see a clip from it where the free kick, which is one of the most famous kicks of his career. But
outside of that, so he doesn't have he can't lean on he was great last World Cup or whatever.
Right. If Messi had come out yesterday and looked old and awful, and Argentina got shockingly upset by Algeria, it truly, in my opinion, would do nothing to his historical standing because, to your point, he's in his 6th World Cup. They're the defending champs. Like, yes, it's disappointing, but it's the tiniest footnote imaginable. This is the only thing off Ronaldo's resume, and unlike if you were watching at the beginning of the show, I talked about how Messi's initial World Cup history was tortured. There was a tournament where he was named he got the golden ball for it, the player of the tournament, and still got criticized at home. Like there were Ronaldo, when he first started his first World Cup, he maybe should have won the Best Young Player award, didn't because of some attitude issues. At least people thought that's what it was. And his first year, Portugal, when he was, not a reserve player, but not the best player in the world, made the best run they've ever made. Since then, he's never, like you said, he's never scored in the knockout round. He's scored 1 goal in each World Cup he's played in, 1 only, except for the World Cup where he had the hat trick. And now, unlike before, you can't say, well, it's unfair because the team's not good enough. The team, with or without Cristiano Ronaldo, they would be one of the favorites.
Correct.
So I don't really know that it's fair because of his age, and he's one of, unquestionably, the 5 greatest players in the history of the sport. And some people think he's the greatest player in the history of the sport. But when you see your contemporary continuing to deliver, it's, again, to use another tortured analogy, it's almost like additional pressure on Steph. It's like, oh, Steph's an old guy. It's like, well, what LeBron's even older. What's he doing? Like, those types of things build on each other.
Dax, quickly, 30 seconds here before we got to go. You've given a lot of grace to teams that have started slow. Spain started slow. Dembele was, I don't know if you want to say ineffective, but it was a quiet first half, moved around. France ended up winning, but he didn't look like the Ballon d'Or winner. Ronaldo has to show up and do something. You won't come on tomorrow and be like, look, Portugal starts, so it's a long tournament.
I will extend him the same grace that I will extend all these great teams who I expect to get better as the tournament wears on. But because Messi's performance last night, there will be heightened expectations. There's zero question about it. And this is true across all sports. We've seen it with the NBA Finals, Wemby, Jalen. If you are considered one of the greatest players of all time or the best player in your league of your era, for better or worse, when you win, you get all the praise, and when you lose, you will be blamed. That is going to happen. It is non-negotiable. So, yeah, the pressure on Ronaldo is huge.
Is it so? Last year, when they finally won a knockout round stage game for the first time since 2006, he came off the bench. He was a bench player for Portugal.
Nursing injuries.
Right. So, but the question I have is, are we even 100% certain that if you removed name and legacy and all of that, that he's right now one of their best 11?
No, he's not. I think he would be better served. I think the coach would be better served, Roberto Martinez, using him as a late game substitute. But that's not going to happen.
Right.
I like starting. Start the game. Messi style.